At a time when the media constantly reminds us that politicians are bad and people don't vote, I decided to get behind the camera and tell a story about the political habits of everyday people. Turns out they're much more concerned with their city council and state government than the mess up on Capitol Hill. So I asked 2 local and state politicians and 4 voters to sit down for one-on-one interviews and 2 community dinners.
Hello. Grab a seat.
Thank you.
Hi, Stephanie.
All in the city most demographically similar to the whole United States. So without further ado, welcome to the city of New Haven, Connecticut. Population around 130,000. A diverse, northeastern, mid-sized city with its share of political problems. And right now, you, the viewer, are in the middle of it all, at its political epicenter, City Hall. New Haveners are represented by 30 alders, also known as city or town councilors, but only 20% of registered voters participate in those elections. 7 state representatives call New Haven home, but last election, only 2 of them ran in contested races. There are 2 New Haven state senators, but last election, both of them ran unopposed. According to a recent survey by Data Haven, 66% of New Haven adults feel like they have influence over their local government, but only 36% of adults feel like their local government is responsive. In a city with low voter turnout, a staggering number of uncontested elections, and such a small number of adults who feel like they have influence, how exactly do New Haveners get involved in politics? In order to answer that very important question, my crew and I set out to find the 2 most well-known and engaged elected officials in New Haven. Then we called our friends at Ricky D's Rib Shack, the best ribs in the city, and we set up 2 dinner parties for each politician to talk policy and activism with 2 of their constituents.
You can take on containers, right?
Please. Thank you. Because the sooner I can start making a livable wage, I don't worry about you giving me a dime. Because it's not like I want to. It's not like I sit on the couch eating bonbons and saying, "Oh, I can't wait for my money to hit." Because it's number one, it's not that much. And number 2, the stuff you gotta go through to get it. I would rather just go work and get my paycheck and just come home and just handle.
After graduating and coming back to New Haven, I was home one day and I saw something on the TV that said something about the Board of Alders and something they were doing. I said, now that's something I would like to do. I said, well, I think that's politics. And I believe in politics, you have to kiss a lot of rear end, and I was not going to do that. So I kind of kept that secret to myself and continued with my life, raising my son, who I had at the time, and working at DCF as a social worker, and I just continued to do that.
Are your parents super engaged?
No, not at all. Absolutely not. My dad doesn't vote. And my mom, like they both try to keep up on the news, but not much at all.
Wow. And I think that's important. Oh. Wow.
I know. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Yeah, well, look, when I first showed up at the State House, it was very difficult to contact people. And at that time, Facebook was around, right? Because people started using it pretty regularly, 2005, 2006. So it was around, but people like myself weren't really using it. So then I was like, well, why have the tool if you don't really use it? So I just think, people will tell you all the time what's impossible. Whatever. They're telling me about what they believe, what they know. I don't know what I can and can't do. This is what I know. People tell me all the time, even today, do not give out your cell phone number to everybody. I think you can actually Google mine, right? That's how I think it's true. And I've been able to manage it. I just say to people, look, stop leaving voicemail messages, you won't get me. You text me, you'll get me, because, there's no way to go through all those voicemail messages. I think it's a matter of how much time you want to put into anything.
But to be honest, it's only been recent that I've been learning more about bills, where they're presented, the public hearings for them, testimonies that you as a citizen can share. So there is a lot of information in this other non-engineering world that was happening and going on that I definitely wasn't aware of.
We, as a community, in particular the Black community, have to rally around a cause and come together. We don't do that enough. We've become too passive. We tend to tolerate way too much. Nobody wants to say anything. Nobody wants to get involved. And believe me, I get it. I grew up in the projects. I was not always this active in community. I came to it once, honestly, even though I may have been aware of things, I came to it once I got my house and invested in my street and my neighborhood. But somebody has to take the initiative. What we do, the work we do, the work that I do, does affect this whole community. So whether you want to come along or not, you are still being affected by the work that I do.
Let me get my head right.
I invite you to watch with me. Get to know Kim, Jeanette, Elias, Gary, Stephanie, and Nadine. Learn from their experiences and advice. Then maybe, after the show, you'll set up your own dinner party.
The less you